Hey everyone, we're TowawayCouple. I'm Tom the driver, and what are you today, buddy?
I don't know where I am today. I was the airhead yesterday.
Well, are the navigator. You're the YouTuber today. You're the YouTuber
I'll
today.
be the YouTuber today.
All right, so you are watching us on YouTube. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on YouTube for all of our upcoming videos, but be sure to go back and watch our other videos. And if you don't like our videos, there are many other channels. If you like our videos, definitely like all of our videos and make comments on them.
Right.
So it helps our algorithms.
Exactly. And even though we are TowawayCouple and we're sitting in a house, it just happens to be, yes, we would love to do the videos in the truck, but our suspension is so hard, it just bounces everywhere.
Exactly. And we do them in hotel rooms, and we have done a few in the hotel rooms. The problem is we've been going so fast and strong and hauling that we get to a hotel room, we're sleeping before
we're wiped out.
We're wiped out. So, but a lot of that's going to change. We're going to slow our roll a little bit. We're going to more focus on living instead of existing.
Exactly.
So
in the beginning, we were kind of sightseeing, and then we kind of
started making good money.
We started making good money.
And so we wanted to make more money.
The greed kind of kicked in.
The greed kicked in. So we will say, however you want to do it, but we just decided that money wasn't the most important thing in life, that there are different values of wealth, and our enjoyment is a value.
Right. No, and it's funny because you see all of our alcohol back behind us. We do collect alcohol bottles.
We're not raging alcoholics.
Nope. We just collect bottles.
That cup over there on that bar right
this one
there has alcohol in it. This cup
My
here,
pineapple cup?
This cup here does not.
Hey, some of us.
So who's the raging alcoholic in this family?
Maybe I'm just funner than you are.
That's true.
But anyways, what I was saying about all this alcohol is we have been trying to hit the Beam Distillery since day one. We drive by it from Alabama to
and the Maker's Mark.
And Maker's Mark. But because of the damn COVID, they've been shut down.
Bunny sitting at the table and it radiates through our microphones.
So no, definitely. I mean, that's some of the things that we like to do. We like to go.
We like to sightsee.
Exactly. So we're going to get back to that.
I mean, why wouldn't you use this opportunity when you're? I mean, I understand the drive-away people can't really sightsee, but in the towaway we can sightsee our way down, because as long as we get the trailer there by the time we say it's going to be there, we're good. Yep. And we use those as our brakes and everything. Bathroom breaks.
We know every rest area.
Every
pilot. Every loves.
So today we're going to be talking about auxiliary fuel tanks. And I'm going to post a picture of my setup right here, right now. Take a look.
We're going to need to buy auxiliary kidney bags.
Right. So we have never run an auxiliary tank before we started here.
No.
We've seen them on a lot of trucks. Even my brother, when he had his fifth wheel, had an auxiliary tank, and he told me how much I needed one. I was like, yeah, I get 400 miles on my regular tank. What do I care? Well, I'll tell you what. 400 miles without a trailer, maybe almost 500. With a trailer, I was getting about our 40-foot fifth wheel. I'll put that picture up right here. So our 40-foot long triple axle fifth wheel with a Harley and a golf cart in it. I get crap gas mileage. And
we'd be lucky if we got two. Well,
we get about
250. Yeah.
250. We always stopped at 200, and I had a quarter tank.
Right.
So
our fill up was between 200 and 220.
Right.
That's where we wanted to fill up so we didn't have issues.
Exactly, except for in West Texas. So anyway, when we started this, we were talking to a couple that have been doing this for about 5 or 6 years, and they talked about doing the auxiliary tank, and I kept telling them, I'm like, yeah, it's $1,000, and it's a lot of money. And he kept telling me, he goes, stop looking at it as a personal expense. You're not buying it for personal use. You're in this to make money, and every time you stop to get fuel costs you money. He goes, you want to stop to get out, go to the bathroom, get back in, and be gone.
Yes.
You don't want to stop every 200 miles to put fuel in your truck. So I was talking to a couple guys at one of the yards, and one guy had 100. We have a 60-gallon auxiliary tank.
Right. We have a short bed,
and we have a puck system. So it's the only thing that could fit in the bed of my truck. So we got 60 gallons. A lot of people have 80, 100, and 110 gallons. I'm so jealous of you guys. And then you got some people that don't have any. I don't think if you lease a truck from Enterprise that you could put an auxiliary tank in. I think the only thing you could do to modify the truck is to put a fifth wheel hitch in.
Right.
I may be wrong. So
I don't know.
If you lease with Enterprise, please let us know if you could put an auxiliary tank in, because that would be good for people to know, because we know a lot of people are looking at Enterprise as a way of getting into this business. Well, I literally just drove to Virginia, from Coleman, Alabama, up to Elkhart, Indiana, over to
Manassas, Virginia.
And I put 1,100 miles on my truck and I still had a quarter tank of my bottom tank. 1,100 miles, and I still had a quarter tank. That was damn good. Now, I talked to one guy and I said, yeah, you should have an auxiliary tank. And he goes, why? And I explained to him about the value of going the distance and stuff. And he goes, well, I got to pee every 200 miles anyway, so I'll just fill up every 200 miles. And I said, well, have you been stuck in a fuel line before? The fuel islands? Okay, sometimes you can get in, fill up, and be gone. But there are times you might be 3 trucks back and you get the guy in front of you or the woman in front of you that decides that it's going to take 45 minutes while all the other islands are just going through it. And whenever you think you're going to bounce over to a different island, someone else bounces over into that island. And so you might as well just wait it out, because you don't know.
And then she decides to wash the side of her truck.
Then she starts washing all the spilled over fuel and def with the brush that I'm going to use on my windshield. So I started laying on my horn, and I think she got out of there pretty quick. I got out of my truck. I was going to go confront her. That was not a truck wash.
It was bad. That was like, yeah.
That was the worst one. Yeah. But we've been stuck in those fuel islands for 20, 30 minutes before we even get up for fuel.
Right. And it's funny because, especially when we have the EFS card. So, and we can map out where we're going to go.
We can see all the prices.
And it's funny, he'll be like, are we at the right one? And I'll pull up and they're like, yeah, they're 3 deep. It's definitely the right one.
Right. But make sure if you're using like an EFS card, which is electronic funding service or whatever, but they have a price locator and they give you discounts on fuel. We know Horizon does. And I believe there's a couple others, but we have heard other companies use card lock, which they can only fill up at certain fueling stations. And a lot of companies don't even have fuel discounts.
Right.
So we talked to one gentleman and he had the extended tank. And when we were telling him about I said, yeah, with the extended tank, isn't it great with the fuel discount? And he goes, fuel discount? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, I don't have a fuel discount. And I'm like, what company do you work for? And he mentioned the company name. I'd never even heard of it, but I haven't heard of 50 of the companies. So I was like, oh my God. So I pulled out my app on my phone. I showed him how I find fuel. He was totally upset with himself for hiring onto this company without doing his research. And so I gave him our recruiter's name and phone number. I'm not trying to take away from any other company, but I think it's kind of wrong if a company doesn't offer you fuel discounts.
Right. Because you're making them money too.
Yeah, and it's costing you more money, and he was getting paid way less per mile than we were.
But with these extended auxiliary tanks, you can definitely know exactly where you're going to go, so you can map out where the cheapest gas is.
Right.
So you can make it that extra distance to
And if you can't, like the other day, we wanted to pay $1.84 a gallon. And I looked at everything and I said, I won't be able to make it. I'm going to be about 50 miles short. And so we pulled in, we looked on there and found the next cheapest one, which was like $2.11. And we pulled in there and I put $20 in, or 20 gallons in to make it to the next one. And even then I underestimated myself and I should have put a little more fuel in, but $1.87 or $1.84 versus $2.11 is quite a bit different.
Yeah.
When you're talking 95 gallons, that's profit.
Right. But like you said, though,
that's a hotel room.
We try not, and we, with ours, it's, forgive me if I don't know the word of it, where it just feeds into the tank.
Gravity feed.
We're a gravity feed. So we actually have a gauge on our tank. But at least
on
now,
both tanks.
Yes, at least now we know when we hit that main tank. Now we decide
we can go X amount of miles. Yep. We know exactly because you have your destination to tank empty, but it's always says 380 or 480 miles or whatever. It never changes because it's constantly getting fuel from the auxiliary tank. Once it hits the main tank and the auxiliary tank is completely empty, then you start seeing your needle go down. Now you see your destination to tank empty. Now you start looking for fueling stations, how far you can go to the cheapest fuel.
Right. And it changes all the time because of your headwinds, the size of your trailer, depending on what you're pulling. All of your fuel mileage is going to affect. So definitely that auxiliary tank has been a lifesaver.
Now, what we have learned is the fuel stations are pretty much static. The same ones that offer like that $1.84 will be about $1.84 continuously. For the last 2 months, it's been $1.84, while others have gone up and down.
One of our regular stops for us is Good Hope, Alabama.
Good Hope, Alabama, Coleman, Alabama. And that's $1.84. It was $1.84. It might be $1.86, but it only varies a couple pennies. We found one in Missouri that was $1.30 a gallon. So when we go to Albuquerque, one of our stops will be at that fuel station, and we will gauge it to where I could put 90 gallons in so I get the most amount of bang for the buck in my pocket. Mm-hmm. So now another thing is when you're dispatching these loads, if you haven't signed on to a company, which you are our audience.
Yes.
Okay, so if you haven't signed on to a company, you get an app, and on the app it has all the trailers and where they're going from and where they're going to. Now what you do is the first thing we do is we go into after we decide, okay, we want to take this trailer from Goshen, Indiana to Roanoke, Virginia. The first thing we do is go into our EFS app and look at the price locator for fuel along the way so we can gauge how much profit we're going to make on pulling that trailer. So that actually also determines if we want to dispatch a trailer or not to certain areas, because we hear a lot of people that complain when they go to the east, like New York, there are no discounts.
Well, this one happened to be too. This last one that we took this week was to Manassas, Virginia. There was only one stop that had a decent price for gas.
Right. All the rest were expensive.
And
you're on the toll roads.
Right. And up to $3.19 a gallon. So if we didn't have that auxiliary tank, we would have made it. We would have had to
fill up several
those
times.
Higher prices.
So by having that auxiliary tank was like having two more of my lower tanks.
Right.
So 1,100 miles.
So
I'm so proud of myself.
What I'll do is I'll go in there and I'll find out what they are, and then I screenshot that picture and then I keep them. So that way when we turn around to come back, I know where we need to stop.
And not only that, that's another key point. So when we're looking at it and she sees all these and I'll post some pictures up here of different screenshots of how it looks on our app. And then what she'll do is she'll pull it up and then she'll screenshot the address, what if it's a Pilot, Flying J, TNA, whatever it is. It has how much money and when it was last updated. What's so funny?
You always call it TNA.
Tits and ass.
Yeah.
Not TA, it's TNA. I'm a guy, okay? I'm a guy. So in like 10 years when I want to go for a Supreme Court justice position, it will say, who said TNA on this video back in 2020? He shouldn't be allowed to be a judge.
Yeah. Good thing that we're not political people.
Right. So anyway, screenshot it, because there have been times when we had no internet service.
Right.
We are between towers. We had no cell service, nothing. But we could put that address in the navigation in the truck, so I could pull over, punch in the address, and we can keep going. Mm-hmm. If she had not screenshotted that, we would have no clue if we had passed it, which we did pass one station one time because we did not screenshot it.
Right. And by the time I got internet.
10 miles past it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to go 10 miles back to go 10 miles back again. That would have been a 30-mile.
Yeah, it wasn't worth it.
No, it
wasn't worth the time, too, because you got to remember you're running on a time schedule here, too.
Exactly. So yeah, definitely when you get your apps, screenshot them. When we look at dispatching loads, we're looking at miles. We're looking at how many days we're going to be driving. We're looking at fuel. We're looking at hotels. What we're looking for is if we could save $40, filling our tanks are $48 or even $25, that pays for part of our hotel. Mm-hmm. And it's just something that we're just very anal on, is making sure we get enough profit out of that trailer.
Yeah. Now, definitely, too, when we first started looking into this, we were looking into buying our own auxiliary fuel tank and installing it ourselves.
Glad we didn't.
It was so much easier and cheaper just to go ahead and...
Well, you could buy an auxiliary tank for about $600. Well, that's what ours cost. Actually, over at Dan's Hitch, and some people say, do they pay you for this because you plug them a lot? No, it's just we happen to have all of our stuff done there. They know their shit. I mean, they have a business ethic about them. They do their job. They do it well. They'll give you insights, but they've been doing Towaway.
Right.
And so they know what we're going through, what to expect and stuff like that. So we bought everything, and pretty much anything I could have gotten on Amazon, I got it at Dan's Hitch for the same exact price installed.
Right. So it was definitely worth taking it all the way to Elkhart to have that done.
Right. Now
for us, everything in our truck has to be black.
Yep.
Everything had to match. So we paid an extra
$250 to have it rhino lined.
Right. But it looks good.
It looks good. But we did buy recently, we needed a toolbox. We needed it right then. We could have bought a toolbox, had it powder coated black, and it would have taken a couple, 2-3 weeks to get it in. And we could have had it designed exactly to our height, width, and depth measurements. We were getting ready to run to California. We had too much stuff in the cab of the truck. We needed to get it in the bed of the truck. So we bought a chrome one. Mm-hmm. And we figure worst case scenarios for the $300, we'll just have one designed and take the chrome one off and sell it, or we will. I mean, we only paid $300 installed.
Well, eventually we are getting another truck,
We'll get another truck and pop it in there.
Right. And definitely when we get a new truck, like I said, we are going to go dually next time.
Yes.
A smaller hitch, because now we being that we have a short bed truck, we have to have a slider.
And it's a big-ass slider.
Big unit. So next time we're going to have a much bigger tank.
Yeah, we're going to have a 110-gallon tank. We're going to have a smaller footprint on the fifth wheel hitch. Literally, like I say, I posted a picture already. I'll post it again. This is what's in the bed of my truck right here on the screen, and you'll understand. Some people actually say, "Oh, the silver actually looks good on that toolbox." No, I don't like it. Personally.
I'll tell you one thing for people. One thing that cracked me up is when we first started. One night we decided to stay at the Red Roof Inn in Elkhart, and I think just it's a transporter hotel. And it just cracks me up because we went out on the balcony and looked on both sides of the hotel.
I took pictures.
It was nothing but transporters.
All
and they were
backed in.
all backed in. And just, you could see everybody's unit and how everybody had everything set up. And it was actually quite impressive.
Right. I mean, I thought about going and taking pictures of each person, but then I didn't want to have someone confront me asking me what I was doing. So yeah, auxiliary tank, 1,100 miles. All we do is dive in, wash the window, or go to the bathroom, grab sodas or coffee, and get out literally in and out in 3 minutes.
Right.
Versus 15 to 20 minutes having to, average is 15 to 20 minutes to get fuel.
Mm-hmm.
Average. Get behind the wrong truck, you're half an hour, 45 minutes, up to an hour.
Yeah.
And you're just sitting there. And God forbid, you've heard the Diesel Island horror stories where the guy goes in and takes a shower and leaves his truck at the pump. It happens, people. It
happens
really
all the time,
happens. Or they go in and take a shower. They go in and they go to the bathroom. Instead of pulling forward, they literally will just go in there and you think, oh, they're just going in to get a receipt. And you're sitting out there for 20, 30 minutes. And then he comes out and like gives you the sorry look. But he saw you there when he went in.
Right. He knew damn well.
He was a douchebag.
Yeah.
So if I ever say douche, you got to do a shot. That's our rule. I won't even go into where that came from. So anyway, everyone has their opinion. That's our opinion. It works for us. We will never go without an auxiliary tank ever again.
No.
I wish they had an auxiliary tank for deaf.
Right.
Yep.
I know. And everybody's like, oh, well, when you get another vehicle, you can take it out and put it into that one. No, that one's going to stay in that one.
Yep. We're going to leave it because we can literally make it from here almost to halfway to California on one tank with a trailer.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Without a trailer, we can do about 1,500 miles. Maybe I haven't tested it, but if I could do 1,100 miles with a trailer, imagine without a trailer, and I'm getting 5 or 6 more miles to the gallon.
Mm-hmm.
I would be doing. I'd get at least 33% farther.
Oh, exactly. And even if you don't have a fuel discount and you have to
Bite the bullet.
A lot of people are using Gas Buddy. Yeah, heck yeah, we'll still use Gas Buddy if I don't have a trailer.
Right. We'll even use Gas Buddy with a trailer. I mean, we've been pulling trailers. I've been pulling since I was 18, but I mean, we're not going to take out an air conditioner. We're a little more knowledgeable on making sure our overhead is.
But if you're pulling through Texas, Buc-ee's is always usually cheaper than any of the discounts.
Yes.
And you can get a big old trailer underneath those.
Oh, yeah. And you can get DEF and everything. And also, they got awesome barbecue. Definitely. I'm not a big turkey fan, but man, their turkey sandwiches are the bomb.
They have great bathrooms with the doors from floor to ceiling.
Floor to ceiling toilets. Yeah. So you go in there with your headphones and your radio, you could sit in there for an hour. No one's going to knock on the door or nothing. So
you're good.
We'll talk about one of the videos. We're going to talk about bathrooms.
That's
we'll do that.
scary.
We'll do the next one. Next video is going to be on truck stop bathrooms.
Oh no, let me drink some more.
Okay. So all right, until next time, we'll see you down the road.
See you soon.